This phone is broken. The top earpiece makes no sound when calling or playing music, so I'm gonna try to replace the earpiece on this iPhone 13. This pink-induced party phone belongs to a really good grandma with lots of grandkids. And those grandkids' favorite thing to do is spill juice on phones and throw them around. And I'm guessing that has something to do with the speaker not working. So let's try to fix it. I'm gonna start by taking out the 2 screws near the charging port. Then I'll heat up the adhesive around the phone. There are metal clips around the outside of the phone and at the charging port that hold the screen to the frame. I'm going to carefully insert a razor blade at these locations to pry up the screen. I was very careful not to cut the ribbon cables on the left side. Now that I have that open, I need to remove these metal plates that cover the ribbon cable attachments. With those plates off, the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the battery so there's no power running to the phone. Next, I'll remove the tape on the ribbon cables and detach the cables using a spudger. With the screen off, I'm going to look for any liquid damage, and luckily I don't see any. If there was liquid damage, that could make the repair a little more difficult. Next up, I'm going to detach all these ribbon cables because I have to lift the motherboard completely out of the phone. There's a lot of cables to detach, and some of them even have 2 or are double stacked. After I detach the cables, I need to locate the 3 screws that are holding down the motherboard, and one of them is underneath this black tape. It took me a minute to find it, but the other screw is in the bottom left corner and needs to be removed with a flathead screwdriver. The 3rd screw is in the top right near the volume buttons. I'm gonna now move all the cables back out of the way so I can get out the motherboard. I will say getting the motherboard out took way more time and effort than I thought it would. With the motherboard out, I can now remove the screws holding down the earpiece speaker. As I remove the earpiece, I'm going to check for any water damage or dirt that might be around it, and luckily I don't see anything underneath, so I'm good to put in the new earpiece. I got it sealed down, so in goes the motherboard. As I mentioned earlier, it was hard to pull the motherboard out, but putting it back in was way more difficult. Before you screw everything down, make sure that you didn't put any cables under the motherboard, because it's totally not cool to have to pull it all apart and do it again. Trust me on that one. Alright, I got the motherboard in, so I'm going to reattach the cables to the screen, then put on the metal plates. With the plates on, I'm going to seal up the phone and make sure everything works. The screen lights up with no problem. The camera is also working and making noises from the earpiece, and there's also responsive sound on the touchscreen. Last step is to test some music. That's a win, so if this video helped you, please go out and help someone else. Thanks for watching.